Bam. Go ahead. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Nikki. Um, so we're going to talk about the book of Exodus. I'm excited. Give me 1 second. Got to get one of my cowboy killers. Okay, but before we get into the book of Exodus, there's a couple things we got to do. And
Mom,
what?
you're supposed to be telling us what Exodus is about.
I'm going to tell you about what Exodus is about. But first, I got to tell you something else.
That's not Exodus.
Can you stop?
Well, I'm just gonna trust you, but don't go all half cocked on something else.
Can you stop?
I'm stopping.
I'm not. Okay, hold on.
I'm not doing anything.
I didn't say you were.
You're mishandling my emotions.
Hold on. 2
Not
seconds.
you. I'm talking to my computer. Mishandling my emotions. Let me turn my microphone on. Son of a biscuit eating, biscuit faced bitch. I don't even know what I done. Damn, didn't mean to cough in your ear like that. Da da dee da da. Da 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 da. I like to rock. I like to roll. I like to rock and roll. Like a mental patient. Rocking in my chair, rolling on the floor. I don't know, I just made that up. Do you remember when I was in the hospital, Mom, and they made me do that wheelchair? And I
I
would
do.
always going down the hallway going rolling, rolling, rolling in my wheelchair. Got beat up in Detroit City. I thought that place was my home. Turned out I got beat and kicked in the dome. So now I'm rolling, rolling, rolling in my wheelchair. That was the best song ever, and you know it.
What song? Rolling Down the River? Which version? CCR or Tina Turner?
No, I just sang it to you. Literally just sang it,
Proud
and I made
Mary,
up my
right?
own words. And I would never sing
Proud
Tina
Mary.
Turner. What kind of shit is that?
Tina Turner sang Proud Mary when she was with Ike Turner. Are you kidding me? How do you not know that?
CCR
Hold on.
sings that song.
Hold on 1 second. You got to see this because it's probably the best version of that song ever.
Mom, don't play
I'm gonna.
that. You'll get me copyrighted. But I've heard the Tina Turner version, but I'm CCR, not Tina Turner. But anyway, I made up my whole song and now it doesn't even matter. Don't get me copyrighted listening to that.
I'm not.
Mom, it's gonna get me copyrighted. Stop it. Stop it.
That woman was wild. Love
No,
Tina
you're
Turner.
gonna get me copyrighted.
I'm not trying to get you copyrighted, but I'm just saying that is a very, very, very.
That's okay. I still don't like Tina Turner.
I like Tina.
Hi, Kurt. Mom, Kurt said hi.
Hi, Kurt.
It's so nice to see you. I'm glad you're back. Don't forget to come to my nighttime show where I am actually reading Exodus.
Yes, I but I need you. I need to do something first. Just give me 2 seconds to find it.
Hey, Mom, I'm trying to tell Kurt what we're doing. Now at nighttime, I'm reading Exodus. My mom here is supposed to tell us what Exodus is about, but first she's going to read something that's not Exodus, and we're waiting for her to find it.
No, I'm not.
Left a good no. Gotta beat up in Detroit City, which I thought was my home. It turns out I got robbed and kicked upside the dome. Now I'm in the hospital, sitting in this chair, and I'll be rolling, rolling, rolling in my wheelchair. Actually, we are. Well, I don't know if my mom is, but I'm doing well. I just made up words to a song. Best words ever, by the way. Son of a bitch. It's gonna fuck up for a minute.
What? Okay. So there's
My
this
computer.
thing, there's this little, let's see. It's about a half a paragraph. And it's kind of it's in the book of Genesis, and it's actually before God asks Abraham to sacrifice Isaac. Okay, there's this
What
half
does
a
that have to
paragraph.
do with
Stop.
Exodus?
I'm going to explain that. That's what I'm telling you right now. Stop.
Word
And
magic.
it's God actually telling Abraham that his descendants is going to go into Egypt and that they're going to be held captive there. And he tells Abraham, he goes, but you don't have to worry about it because you'll be long asleep before that happens. He goes, but just know, I will. Is that Dustin? Was that Dustin? Okay. So anyway, so and it's also at the same time that God is making his covenant with Abraham.
That
And
was
so God,
Dad.
oh, hi Mike. And he says, so this is when God is starting to make his covenant with Abraham. And he's telling Abraham, look, I'm going to make a covenant with you and your descendants after you, the Hebrew people, the Jewish people. He says, and this is going to be the covenant. And the covenant that I'm making with you is going to be based on myself. And still in the old country and a lot of the Middle Eastern countries, they still make covenants like this. Um, and what they do is they sacrifice animals. Now it's with money, but they still make the same thing. And what
They
they do,
sacrificed greenbacks to the sun god.
stop. So what they do is they lay the two families come together, or the two parties that are making the agreement, and they put sacrifices on each end of the thing. And what they do is they walk around in this figure eight circle, and they shout out loud exactly what it is their part of the agreement is. One will go and then the other will go. Now, when you see God make his covenant with Abraham, the only one doing the walking and the talking is God himself, which means that the covenant can only be broken by God. It can't be broken by
Who did
Abraham
what?
because
What'd you say?
Abraham has, huh?
What'd you say?
Me?
Yeah. Did you say when
Oh,
they were walking up the mountain, the only person that talked was God? Because that's
I said
absolutely
when they
wrong.
were making the covenant, not the mountain. I
Oh,
don't know where you're even getting a mountain. So this is the
I
covenant. So I'm saying when two parties come together, okay, whether it be a marriage agreement, whether it be a business agreement, this is what they do. They make their little figure eight thing and they discuss and they speak out loud so everybody in the room can hear. This is my covenant with you. I'm going to give you 10 sheep. I'm going to give you 50 cows. I'm going to give you 100 bulls. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And they lay out their part of the agreement, right? Then the other party goes in and he sets his part of the sacrifice on fire and he does the same thing. And he goes in there and he lays out his part of the agreement. I'm going to give you my daughter and she will bear you children, she will bear you sons, she will bear you daughters, and they will carry your name, and they will do this and they will do that. You guys will live in the family plot, whatever it is. So when God makes his covenant with Abraham, the only person making the covenant is God himself, which means the covenant is going from God to Abraham. Abraham has no skin in the game. It's all based on what God does. It's God's side of the argument. The children of
oh,
Israel cannot break the covenant because they're adding nothing to it. The only person that can break the covenant is the person adding into the covenant. God is the one making the covenant, and he's making it with Abraham for Abraham. And this is how you know it is. It says, and the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, and he brought it, he says, I am thy
my
shield and
God.
let me finish because this is important because it goes right into what happens in Egypt. This is God making his covenant and telling Abraham about what's going to happen in the future.
Okay, but that has nothing to do with Exodus.
It does because he tells them that they're going to be put into captivity, but Abraham will already be dead. It'll be his descendants in captivity. And God is telling him in this covenant that he is going to bring them out. This is where Exodus actually starts.
Don't confuse people like that.
I'm not
Because
confused.
that's
I
in
just
Genesis.
told you this is where it actually starts. Excuse me, miss, but I'm on the phone. I know, I hear you. Stop being rude. And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of the land of the land of the land of the Chaldees.
Because
Ain't
he
that where
Abraham called
ain't
Eve.
that right? Okay, but that's also the same place as Job. Uh, excuse me, who was the seed of Esau, but just listen, it says to give thee this land and to inherit it. Excuse me. Stop it. And to give it to thee, give this land to inherit. Whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, take me and a heifer of 3 years old, and a she goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these and divided them in the midst and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abraham drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abraham. Now, what's funny here is the same deep sleep that falls upon Abraham here is the same deep sleep that fell upon Adam when God brought forth Eve. But anyway, we're going to keep going. Upon him,
Jacob.
Abraham,
It's
and
the
lo,
same
and
as
horror,
Jacob.
and a and lo, and a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abraham, know of surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. The children of Israel was in Egypt for 400. It was actually 430 because of Moses, but we'll get into that. 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. See, this is God. This is God saying this is what's going to happen, but be at peace because I'm going to bring them out. Okay, this is part of my covenant with you. Dude, I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And he says, and thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried at a good old age. But in the fourth generation, he's even telling me, he goes, it's going to be the fourth generation of your descendants that this is going to happen to. They shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. Okay. Now, remember what I told you. This is how they do their covenants, even still to this day, in a lot of the families in the Middle East. Between the pieces in the same day, and the Lord made a covenant. It says the Lord made a covenant. It doesn't say Abraham made a covenant. It says the Lord made a covenant. This covenant was based strictly on God. Everything was God. Covenant with Abraham, saying Unto thy seed have I given this land from the river of Egypt unto the great river of the Euphrates, the Canaanites and the Kezites and the Kedamites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Rephaims and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Girgashites and the Jebusites. So God's saying, look, there's this much land, and I'm going to give this space of land to you in your fourth generation. Now, there's a reason it's the fourth generation. And it has to do with the fact that Ham, the son of Noah, castrated his father and killed his
Now,
fourth
don't
brother.
say that.
It
Nobody knows
actually,
that to be
act,
true. Don't
stop,
say
stop, stop,
that.
stop, 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 stop. Yes, it
Hold
does.
on, Mom. I gotta
When
play the
you
video.
read it, when you read it from the original language, yes, it does. It says that
I
he
gotta play
found
the
him
video.
naked. It
Yeah, that doesn't mean he cut his dick off. Stop it.
it
Nobody
most
knows that.
stop. It does. When you look at it from the original Hebrew, the word there for nakedness is the wrong word. The word says there
Don't.
because
No.
stop. Because listen to the words that Noah says to him. He goes, Ham, I know it was you because of the greed in your heart, and you will be cursed because of the thing you have done. Now, you don't say a thing you have done because you seen me naked. It's the thing you have done because you have killed your
Yeah.
family.
Noah was trying to do some weird shit and he told his
No,
brothers.
Noah was drunk and he was asleep in his tent. His brother went in there and castrated him.
Because
And
he
he
was
went back
doing
out.
some
He
weird
told his brothers
shit.
what he did. He
Mom,
went back out and
I
told his
gotta play
brother what
this
he did.
video.
And his brothers walked in backwards because they didn't want to see the mess. And they threw a blanket over him. When his dad woke up, he said, look, he goes, Ham, I know it was you. And I know it was you because you're greedy and because you didn't want to share. Thought you would get more if another child wasn't born. That's exactly what he is saying to
That's
him. He
not what
goes,
he
therefore,
said.
I'm going to curse
Mom, I gotta
you.
play the video.
What video?
Well, never mind. It doesn't much matter. But research it. Everybody research this. My mom is the only person I've ever heard that from. And I don't know. It
But
does
it
sound
is.
like,
No,
but we're
and what's
supposed to be
funny,
talking about
we
Exodus.
are talking about that, but I'm saying there's a reason. God doesn't just say things. He's saying the fourth generation of Abraham is going to come back to the fourth generation of Noah because
That's
Noah
not
was
what it
Abraham's
says. Stop
great
it.
great grandfather.
That is not.
It most
Why? We
certainly
need to
is
talk
because
about Exodus.
Abraham is the seed of Japheth. Japheth and Shem dwelt together. Ham was removed from the family line. That's where the Canaanites, the Jebusites, the Pezerites, and the Rephraimites came from, and the Amorites. And God says, their sin isn't fully developed yet, but it's going to be, and we're going to wipe them out because that is the punishment. The sins of the father has fallen onto the sins of the children.
And then
That's what this is. This is God correcting a mistake.
God don't make mistakes.
I said he's correcting a mistake that Ham made. He's wiping out the descendants of Ham because of because Ham wiped out the descendants of his brother before his brother was ever born.
I don't
It's
know.
justice.
Again, research this. I've never. I
I
don't
know,
know.
but
But
you
keep
have to.
going, Mom. Yeah, let's
Okay,
get to Exodus.
and so then you get into the book of Genesis or into the book of
Exodus.
Exodus, in the book of Exodus, it starts out um where they're talking about a pharaoh coming into power that didn't know Joseph. Now you got to remember Joseph also was in which is, and again, it is God just being God, but it's so God sent Joseph into Egypt, and even Joseph himself says it. He goes, God sent me here to keep you alive because of the famine. He goes, I was sent before you so that I could store up food and you could bring your families here and bring my father here. But yeah, because God tells Joseph, he was arrogant, okay? No denying the fact that Joseph was a little arrogant puppy
That's
because
because he was a prince.
he wasn't a prince. Well, he was, but then all of the children of Jacob were well to do. They were all, but when Joseph got put into when Joseph was sold for 30 pieces of silver to the Ishmaelite traders, he ended up in Egypt in Potiphar's house. And then Potiphar's wife accused him of rape, and he ended up in prison. And then he told the dream of the butler, and he told the dream of the wine taster, the cupbearer. And then when Pharaoh started having dreams that nobody could interpret, they called for Joseph, and Joseph explained the dreams. And then he tells them, he goes, this is what you need to do. He goes, you need to find somebody you can trust, and you can put them in charge of storing up the grain and doing this and doing that and doing this, right? And Pharaoh loved Joseph, and Joseph kept the country of Egypt afloat during the 7-year famine. And then it says that the Pharaoh that a new Pharaoh rose who knew not Joseph. And he looked at the children of Israel and said, they're more than us. And if we get attacked, they may take somebody else's side and go against us. And then they made the deal of killing the firstborn of every Hebrew child. Right? So God, you see God leading them into Egypt. And just like he told Abraham, he goes, they're going to go there. He goes, and they're going to be there for 400 years. He goes, but I will bring them out. And so the whole book of, from the end of Genesis all the way through the book of Exodus, is God not just judging Egypt, but also introducing himself to the children of Israel who had not known God in the way that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Esau, and those guys knew God. You see what I'm saying? Because they lived in Egypt. They knew about the Egyptian gods. They knew that they were slaves. They knew that they had a promise that God was going to deliver them from Egypt, but they had no idea of how it was going to happen. And so Jochebed, when the thing went out that they were going to be killing the firstborn of them, she sent her son in a basket to Pharaoh. Not that she knew it was going to go to Pharaoh, but just that, she wanted her son to live, and Moses was raised in the house of Pharaoh. And Moses was a mighty man. Moses was highly intelligent. Moses was strong. Moses was a brawler. he took Ethiopia. He did a lot of things. He was married to an Ethiopian princess. He would have been Pharaoh. But he chose to serve God over the riches of Egypt. And he chose that because he found out that Bithiah wasn't his real mother, that Jochebed was. He loved Bithiah. Bithiah raised him.
Research all of this. I don't know any of this, and I never read any of this in the Bible. And
You most
Mom,
certainly
let's
did.
talk
Well,
about
it's scattered through other story. It's scattered in other parts of the Bibles. It's scattered in the book of you know
wait,
it because it's in the book of
what?
it is in the Psalms, in the songs of Moses in the book of Psalms. It is in other books, in the book of Chronicles, where you see everybody talking about the days of Moses, and you see it in the stories of Joshua, and you see it in all these other places in scripture, including Isaiah, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, because they reference these terms.
I don't know. Like I'm saying, just research it because I don't know. And again, my whole thing is I just read the words of the Bible. I know that the Bible doesn't say anything about that. That's why I'm telling people to research it because I never heard it and I don't mind your teaching. But we have to remind people to research things that are not in the Bible.
Right.
But Moses being married to an Ethiopian, that's why Miriam and Aaron got leprosy. But it
But
doesn't say she's a princess. It just says she's Ethiopian.
but he was married to her. He married her while he was still the prince of Egypt. He just never brought her back to Egypt. She stayed in Ethiopia.
It, yeah, I don't know about that part
Because
either.
you got to remember again, all alliances were based on marriages.
Right. And Moses wasn't married.
Moses was married, but he would have
Not.
also been Pharaoh, which means he would have had been able to have two wives and had two children from both sides. What half of his family would have ruled Ethiopia, the other half would have ruled Egypt.
I
That's the way they did things.
I understand that's the way they did things, but
Okay.
I don't know. None of that
But
is
when
written
he
in the
chose
Bible.
God and his first wife died, he brought his Ethiopian wife in.
It- Look, the Bible doesn't say any of that. I don't know any of that. I I just want to read about Exodus or talk about Exodus. And you're
That's what I'm
talking
doing.
about Exodus, but don't throw the extra shit in there, Mom. I don't want to have to keep cutting you off. Like, we have to research this. Do your best not to do that, but I understand.
Well, again, there's and I'm not saying it's just from me. I mean, you can look at historical documents. The documents that are from Ethiopia, documents that are from all of these places, they all state it.
Hey,
They
that's
said
okay.
he
I
brought
don't need
Moses.
any of that. I don't need any of that to know what the Bible says. And the
I
Bible doesn't
understand
say
that.
anything about
But how okay, but if Moses is sitting in the wilderness for 40 years, how did he run across an Ethiopian chick? I'm asking. How do you
I
think they
don't know.
found her?
Miriam,
Okay,
Miriam
because
and
he was
Aaron.
already married to her. That's
I don't
how.
think that's true. I
I
don't
do,
know.
because it's
Well, okay, you can know that and people can research it. I don't know that. 311 says hello and he loves you, Mom. He's always
hi.
talking about you. His name is 311.
Hi 311. But yes, I mean, because there's so many there's so much in scripture, and you have to remember,
There
even
is
in the Gospel
not.
of John, when the Gospel of John in the New Testament, the Gospel of John is ending, the last thing John says is, we there is so many things that was done that if we wrote it all down, there wouldn't be books to contain it.
It's super exaggeration.
No, it's just because
Super. The fish was this big. I
I'm
swear
not
to
saying
God. I'm telling
no,
you, the fish was this big.
no, okay, we're not
Super
talking fish tales.
exaggeration.
We're not talking fish tales. That's like
I
most men
know.
tell
We're
you
talking
that
about
this
super
isn't it. This is
exaggeration.
6 inches, right?
This
No, it's
is
not the
super
same thing.
exaggerations, Mom.
This is
Come
not
on.
6 inches,
Exactly. That's
okay?
why you shouldn't. Mom,
But
you know that's
history
a super
stop.
exaggeration.
But history and actual documentation, and people like Josephus and Philo and Ibisu and all of these different
Are these people
historians,
in that Jew Journal fantasy novel? Because that shit is fake as fuck.
stop, they're historians, they're ancient historians, actually, and they've all wrote it. You can also read about it in the tales of Gilgamesh. It was Assyrian. I mean, other countries have these documentations. It's not just Egypt, it's not just Israel. All the countries knew. Other countries showed up to the wedding feast. How do you not understand that that's how things were
Wait,
done?
how do you not understand? Why aren't we talking about Exodus?
I am talking about Exodus. I'm just saying that the things I'm telling you is documented. You don't have
I
to
mean,
take my
that's
word for
okay.
it.
Like I said, research everything you hear on this channel because I think 90% of what we hear about that crap is bullshit. What matters is what the Bible says. And
Right.
people
Now
ignore what the Bible says
Moses
so
had
they can
2
pay
wives.
attention to all this shit over here. And none of that
Moses
shit
had 2
matters. What
wives. He
matters
had
is what it
m he
says.
now,
That's
before
my thing.
Moses married either one of his wives, he, well, af Moses got kicked out of well, Moses actually didn't get kicked out of Egypt. He ran from Egypt because he killed an Egyptian. And he killed the Egyptian because he was killing a Hebrew. Now, in most and he knew it was a death sentence to strike an Egyptian. And remember, Moses had just found out he was Hebrew. So he left and he ended up in the tent of Jethro, who was a Moabite, who was a priest of Midian.
Rayul. His name is Rayul. Real.
No, it's Jethro.
Reureu, the priest of Midian,
His name is
and he had
Jethro.
7 daughters.
His name was Jethro, and he did have 7 daughters, and
That's his second name. I'm
that's
telling
his
you, look it up right now. Look it up right now. It's Reuel. Because I'm always talking about Moses' father-in-law being Secret Service. Because he's got so many damn names.
hold on.
Is it
What
when
was
Moses
Moses' father-in-law's name in Hebrew?
what do you mean
Jethro.
in
It
Hebrew?
was Jethro.
That is not his
Reuel,
name. Look it up.
Reuel.
Mom, I'm not going to
Right?
argue with you about it,
I'm
but
telling
his
you, I've
first
got it
name
right.
is Reuel.
Look, can you just be quiet for 5 seconds and let me finish what I'm telling you?
I can't read
That's
that, Mom.
okay. It says it's Jethro, as Jethro, Reuel, Reuel, translated as Reuel or Raguel, Ragul. He is also referred to as Yitter.
No, no, he's
So
not.
Jethro is still his name. You can call him by any of those, but it's still the same thing. So back to what I
Hey,
was saying.
that's some word magic right there. I love you,
I
Mom.
just looked it up. You were
I
correct.
know.
It is Reuel. I'm going to
Yeah.
continue to call him Jethro because I liked the name.
Okay.
So Jethro, again, he ends up marrying Jethro's daughter. She ends up giving him 2 sons. But at the time he goes back into Egypt, he only has the one. He has the second one later on. But his when he's going
Moses
back
had 2 sons.
2 by his first wife. I don't know if he had any children with the Ethiopian woman. Scripture never
No,
discusses
Moses had
that.
2
Um,
kids.
Scripture never discusses that. I've never seen any historical documents. I've never seen anything from anywhere else that stated he had more children. I'm just saying, I know of 2 that scripture talks about. There's
There
been no
is only
documentation
2.
of him having children through any other form. I do know that
There
his
is,
sister Miriam never gave birth to a child. His sister Miriam
there's
never had children.
2
But his
kids.
mother, his Egyptian mother, Bithia, she left Egypt with him and she did have children. And she married a Hebrew man and they had children.
I, well,
No, it's actually in scripture. You can read it. I think it's in the book of Numbers. And the book of
no,
Numbers is
that's fine. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. I told you I was going to let you go. I was going to let you go on. Go on. I'm not going to fuck with you.
It says in the it says that after he gets into he leaves and he marries now you got to remember too that that God had did the whole circumcision thing, right? And the children of Israel were still circumcising their kids. So when God calls Moses and tells him, I'm going to send you into Egypt to bring the children of Israel out. His wife Zipporah, it says, and I say unto thee, let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse, let him go. Behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn. Shall come to pass by the way in the inn that the Lord met him and sought to kill him. Now, God sent an angel to strike Moses down because Moses had not been circumcised. Because remember, he was raised in by Egyptians, not by Hebrews. So Moses had never been circumcised. It says, then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, sh- you are surely a blood husband to me now. So let him go. Then she said, a bloody husband thou art because of the circumcision. And the Lord said unto Aaron, go into the wilderness to meet Moses. And he went and met him in the mount of God and kissed him. And Moses told Aaron all the words of the Lord who had sent him and all the signs which he had commanded him to do. Now, so that was Moses' first introduction to circumcision because Moses didn't know. Moses was raised by Egyptians. They didn't do that circumcision stuff.
That's not true.
No, they didn't.
No, because Moses' mom had him till she couldn't care for him anymore. So he was circumcised because he was there longer than 8 days. And on the eighth day, they have to be circumcised. And I
Right.
think Zipporah was talking about because she was an Egyptian and Moses
Well, she was
probably
a
made her do it.
Midianite.
So she was right. And they
So she
probably didn't do
circumcised her son.
circumcision.
But I don't think
Right,
Moses was
because
circumcised
Moses
either.
made, so she was being a fucking asshole. Because
I don't
Moses
think
was like, you need to circumcise my son. And then she did it, and then it's like, here you go, you bloody bitch.
right, but I don't think Moses was circumcised because his mother knew she was going to have to send him down the river. She knew she couldn't keep him forever. So I don't think she circumcised him so that if he grew up in the house of Egypt, he would look like the Egyptians. And there was no way she could have taken him to a priest and it not been known. She was hiding him. There's no way that Moses was circumcised. None whatsoever.
Okay, I just know they're supposed to do it on the eighth day. And if you
Yes, but
don't, you're cut off your
I'm sure that God made an exception because God knows what's going on.
well, Abraham was not circumcised for a long ass fucking time.
Yeah, I mean Ishmael was 12 years old before he got circumcised. Moses was or Abraham was in his 70s.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it ain't and just think most of his servants were older too. So I mean, and he literally had to circumcise everybody that traveled with
Yeah. He's like, get on the stone.
him. Let's get to cutting, baby.
You know, something like
Snip,
that.
snip, snip, baby. But
Snip goes the tip.
snap,
Snip
crackle,
the
pop.
tip. Man, we're so gross.
All my boys were circumcised.
Mine too.
Well, yeah, it's actually healthier. It keeps them from
Yeah.
getting urinary tract infections. Poor Alan.
And
He's
yeast
so
infections on your dick hole. But never mind, we're not talking about that.
right,
What we're talking about is Exodus.
right. It says
Well,
it's
actually, we
but
can
there
be
is some
done
really
talking about Exodus.
so there's actually some really cool stuff too in the book of Exodus. Like there's some like some of the plagues that God releases in Egypt, which by the way, I must say, God absolutely has an awesome sense of humor.
He's in a codependent relationship with these terrible ass people.
Well, no, he has a covenant with them.
Codependent
An
relationship.
unbreakable, an unbreakable covenant. But anyway, back to what I was saying.
They break it all the time.
It doesn't. The Jewish people can do whatever they want to because the covenant doesn't isn't based on what they do or don't do. It's based on what
And why
God
does
said
God
he
tell them that they break the covenant all the time? He's always telling
he's
them that.
always say yes, but he's not when you read the book of Genesis and the covenant is laid out by God himself. God says, I will, I will, I will, I will. He never lays any stipulations on the Jewish people. The Jewish people can do whatever. The covenant is based strictly on what God does, not what they do. It's a covenant of grace.
Well, that is a very, that's an explanation. That's a very, is a very good interpretation.
Well, all you got to do is go back to the book of Genesis, chapter 23, and read it for
I'm not
yourself.
going back to the book of Genesis.
Well, I'm just saying,
Hey,
it's
I might have a new co host tonight, Mom.
very awesome. So,
Yeah, he's going to do the first show with me right here on this YouTube channel. But then if we decide that we do work, communicate real good together, we're going to start posting on my other channel called the Bible Buds.
okay.
It's going to be super sweet.
Now, the now this is going to be interesting because the plagues that God releases,
Ow,
the
shit,
plagues
Mom. I got to
what?
pee real quick. I got to pee.
Okay,
Keep talking.
got it. So anyway, the plagues that God releases to the children on Pharaoh, which I must say, kudos to you, Jesus. Kudos, kudos, kudos. Anyway, a lot of these plagues you're going to see released in the end days in the book of Revelation. There's 10 plagues here. The sun, darkening the sun, it's going to happen here. It's going to happen in the end days. The fish dying, going to happen. Grain, gonna happen. Frogs, I'm not sure about the frogs. That would be interesting, though. That would definitely. The locust is definitely coming. But there's gonna be a lot of stuff, the earthquakes and all of these things. Yep. Mhm. Yep, they're coming. And we know that they had fire and hail and all of those things. Yeah. Josephus actually says that the hail that fell in Egypt was so big that it was literally busting concrete, pillars and things like that, that they were bowing. It was killing the livestock. It was killing people. It was fun. It was so big. Boom. It was literally breaking things. That's not that is not tiny. I mean, you sit back and you're going, dang. Yeah. Like that commercial. Can you hear me now? God, it's so funny. And the great thing is though, I mean, and every one of the thing all of the things that God did was either financial, it was spiritual, and it was personal. I mean, he was killing their gods. He was killing their fertility gods. I mean, anything and everything, the boils, the blisters, all of those things. They worship gods that were supposed to keep them healthy. They worship gods that were supposed to be able to bring back the dead. They worshiped all these different things, and God was wiping them out one by one. The sun god, I'll kill him. I'll just make it. I'll make the sun night. I'll just block the sun out. Let's see. Let's see your God fix that, right? 3 days of darkness. you know, you got a river god? I'll turn your river to blood. Let's see your God fix that. I mean, there's all of these different gods, and God's sitting there going, I can kill him. I can kill him. I can kill him because I am God. There is no other God but me.
Research everything you hear.
But yeah, so I mean, again, one of my favorite things though is when you see God doing all these things, it never Pharaoh still wouldn't let the children of Israel go. But but God knew he wasn't. God knew he wouldn't. And God actually didn't want him to, because God wanted to destroy Egypt because of what Egypt had done to the children of Israel for 430 years. And because everything that the Egyptians had came because of who Joseph was and the blessing of God upon Joseph. See, people, again, the Pharaoh who did not know Joseph didn't understand that everything that he had came because God loved Joseph and blessed the hands of Joseph. So when the children of Israel left, they took everything that Joseph had provided and Joseph had worked for Pharaoh and produced.
Mom,
What?
we're almost at an hour.
Okay. But we can finish this up next Sunday. But
Well,
yeah.
yeah, but let's talk about stuff real quick. I mean, I'm not doing anything for a second. I'm watching the episode right now where Asuma dies. I
Oh,
haven't got to the part he dies, but I'm
I
getting pretty close.
I love Asuma. Asuma was so good to Naruto, and Asuma was so good to Choji and Shikamaru and Ino,
Yeah.
S- Sar- Asuma Saratobi.
Huh. Yeah.
I remember. You
No.
remember that episode where he finds out that Asuma is what's his Konohamaru's
When?
uncle?
Oh, Konohamaru's uncle.
Yeah, Naruto goes, "You're his uncle?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Really? You're related to him?" He goes, "Yeah, he was my dad." He's like, "Ah!" He goes, "I didn't know that. Why not anybody ever tell me anything?" But yeah,
Yeah.
I loved Asuma, and I loved how when everything was going down, the first thing he did said to Yamato was, "Please look after Naruto," and then he
Yeah,
dies.
he did. I just watched that episode.
That was so sad. I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna not pay attention to it for a few
So sad.
minutes.
And he did it so he could save Shikamaru. Everything he did was to save Shikamaru.
But Shikamaru, man, he does not train for his jutsu. Like he goes on all these like badass missions, but he never has enough chakra. And people are always coming in at the last minute to save him.
But
And
he
it's like
killed.
eventually you gotta do some kind of fucking training.
Well, that's exactly what he tells Naruto after the death of Jiraiya. But remember, he does start training. He starts training. Ino started training stronger. And when they decide to
Sakura,
go after those
Joji,
two,
Kiba,
yeah, when they finally
Yamada.
decide, when he finally decides to go after those two, they go, "Are you finally going to do it?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Okay, let's go. We've been practicing. We've been training."
The one that's most surprising
And
is
Kakashi,
Neji.
man, he was absorbing jutsu like crazy. When he went to Team Asuma and he
Yeah.
was absorbing
I
the electric, he was
still
absorbing the
don't
water.
think Kakashi. He, I Kakashi is as tough
Oh
as
my god, how
like
he is.
Kakashi.
Are you kidding me? And he's fast. I mean, his ability to weave a sign without you even seeing him weave it. Even Kisame said that. He goes, "I didn't even see him weave a sign." That's fast.
I'm not denying Kakashi is strong and he is fast and he's good with that Sharingan. But I don't think he's as badass as everybody says.
Yes,
Because
he is.
even
He's just not one
Kakashi,
of those guys that walks around and says, "Hey, look at me. I'm so cool. I'm so strong. I'm this, I'm that." He's like, "I don't need to do that. I'm okay in my skin. I'm perfectly okay with you thinking what you think. You don't have to think anything about me. When we fight, I will show you."
I don't
And he
know.
does. Kakashi is wickedly good. I mean, he was like Itachi. Him and Itachi were kind of alike. I mean, even Itachi, you never seen Itachi weave a sign. And he
No,
could jutsu after
Itachi's
jutsu
a
after
different kind
jutsu.
of cool. Man, Itachi is a different kind of fucking cool. Yeah.
And neither one you never see either one of those 2 dudes leave a sign, but they take you out quickly and painlessly.
You know what I also thought about? Itachi doesn't put any leaf ninja in a genjutsu that'll kill them. Only incapacitate them, not kill
Yes.
them. Itachi,
He loves his village and he loves his comrades.
yeah,
And
and
the
he
only
never
reason he
killed them.
showed up there, he said it was after for he was going for Naruto. But we all
The
know
fourth
he was going for
Hokage's
the
legacy.
yes, but we all know he was going to check to see about the 3rd Hokage because he had heard the 3rd Hokage had died, and he wanted to check on Sasuke. That was it. There was no other reason. But he couldn't tell anybody why he was there because he had Kisame with him. And he didn't want Kisame to know that his brother was still alive. Because his whole entire clan was supposed to be dead, but he saved Sasuke because he loved Sasuke.
Yeah,
See,
I love Naruto.
I do
Naruto
too.
is the best.
And I love the
But
fact that they built that thing in Itachi, that robot Naruto. And Itachi said as long as he says he's gonna save Sasuke, he'll give him all his stuff back. He twisted only Itachi would go that only Itachi can think 15 moves ahead of everybody else. That is so funny. Because even Orochimaru goes, that freaking Itachi. I'm like, yep, that's Itachi. Oh, he's watching Naruto, taking care of Naruto. Because he loved Naruto too.
that's why he gave him Shisui's eye
I know he did, didn't yes, he did. Gave him
with the
Sishui's
crow. And then
yeah.
when Itachi came, like when he was brought back with the reanimation, the crow came out of Naruto's mouth, and he's like, "Why'd that crow come out of my mouth?"
He goes, like, because I put it there. He goes, well, why did you do that? He goes, I figured you'd have to use it on Sasuke. He goes, but you had to use it on me instead. He goes, but you got a better eye. He goes, you've got better eyes. He goes, you don't need that eye. He goes, you've got better eyes.
Sometimes you have better eyes than me. Oh, that's what Neji said. Never mind.
That's what Neji said, but Itachi ended up saying the same thing when he asked, "Well, why are you destroying it if I need it for Sasuke?" He goes, "Because you've got better eyes than me." It's almost like he said the exact same thing, and Naruto's like, "The second time I've heard this, now I understand it. Y'all keep telling me crazy stuff, but y'all don't explain it. Y'all think I'm supposed to know this stuff. I don't know anything. I'm a kid who grew up by myself, didn't have a dictionary, but yeah." But the 3rd Hokage was always good to Naruto too. The old man, that's
Yeah,
what Naruto called him. And I love how he became friends with Konohamaru too, by punching him in the face.
I don't know what's happened.
He punched Hamaru in the old man's office, remember? He punched him right in the face. The old man just sat there.
I don't.
He's like, "Did you see what he did to me?" And he's like, "Yeah, I saw it." What'd they say? Are you smoking a
I
joint?
I feel like uh, I would never smoke a joint. I don't even know what that joint.
It's a
I
little tree of green that you roll
left-handed cigarette.
between. It's a little tree of green that you roll up. Roll, roll, roll your weed. Simply to the end. Take a toke until you choke and pass it to a friend. I can't hear ya.
That wasn't a joint. That was a left-handed
Oh,
cigarette. It was a left-handed
okay.
cigarette. But
Okay.
anyway, hold on. Midbar! Midbar is here. Midbar, you want to come on my Discord and say hi to my mom? Fucking Midbar. I'm so happy. Midbar is going to be my co host tonight.
I'm
It's
so
the
glad. You guys are going to do the book Exodus. Well, like I said, I only explained so much of Exodus. I didn't explain all of Exodus because we still got to get into the Decalogue and we still got to get into the laws and some of the stuff there. And
hold on, Mom. Keep talking, but Dustin's about to leave.
oh, Dustin's going to work. So, yeah, love my daughter. So, guys, I'm hoping that I'm making sense to at least most of you, if not all of you. And I'm hoping that you're understanding and catching what I'm saying and hoping that it is making sense to you.
Mom, Mom, you make sense. I just have to, for the integrity of my channel and the integrity of both of us, have to remind people to research what they hear on my channel.
Well, yeah, I expect them to. That's why I give them things that I give them, like Josephus, like Ebus, and like other places. I mean, you can look up ancient documents from on the internet from Egypt, from the stories of Gilgamesh, from all of these other countries that have these stories because they're have these documents because their representatives of those days showed up for these things. It's not like it was just in one country. When a king got married, trust me, other kings showed up. Other representatives showed up. When Esther married Xerxes in the book of Esther, it says that, well, before Esther married him, when he was going to marry the other chick that ended up getting beheaded, it says that he had a wedding feast that lasted 7 days. So it's not like there weren't documents in other countries talking about that feast. That's why I'm saying you don't have to take my word for it. You can go to all these other places, find the same information that I have. You just have to be willing to do the work to get it.
Um, Midbar said he's not awake yet, so he can't come on.
I know.
Bummer. Uh-huh. But anyway, Mom, do you want to stay and hang out,
Um,
or do you want to
no,
go?
I'm gonna go because I got other stuff I'm gonna be doing. But I love you
All
guys, and I
right.
will see you next Sunday for another
All right. How
hour
are you
of
doing?
going through a few more chapters of the book of Exodus. But
Yes.
like I say, you know, pick up books that were written before the internet, before an encyclopedia, you know, go read. Reading is fundamental. It's actually good for you. Pick up a book and,
I
look at
did.
the historical document. Look at all of the things that tells you that what I'm saying is accurate. I mean, even the Coptic Christians
I
in
will do
Egypt
that.
will tell you, the Coptic Christians of Egypt will even tell you that. Although right now I would ask all of you guys to pray for them because they are having some really difficult times because of the Muslim Brotherhood over there. They burned down two of their churches.
Ah, Mom, don't
What?
do that.
I'm just saying pray for
Don't.
them. And I'm telling you why to pray for them because they've lost two churches. They have. They were burnt down. And they are our
Hold
brothers
on.
and sisters in Christ.
Mom, Midbar said, uh, uh, yeah, Xerxes' first wife basically gave him the finger in front of all the other kings.
Yes, she did. And
Yeah,
he's like, yeah, and I'm going to behead you. And then he had to have another wedding. And that's where he got Esther.
she was the most beautifulest virgin because that matters.
She was beautiful. There ain't a
Think most.
document in the world that says she wasn't beautiful. Not a document anywhere. Says she was absolutely stunning.
That's because she didn't have that hook nose.
Oh, she's Middle Eastern, honey. They all got it.
Uh, I bet she
Uh,
done it.
yes, she
I bet
did.
she done. I don't
Yes,
have
she.
it. No, I don't have it. She didn't
Well, that's
have
because
it
you got your
either. That's
dad's
why.
nose. You would have if
That's
you'd have
why
got my
she was
nose.
beautiful.
You would have if you'd have got my nose, but you didn't get my
I
nose. Thank
know.
you.
I would have never. No. God, even God's like, no, you don't get no hook nose, no rat nose.
But like I said, yeah, she said, I'm not wearing my crown in front of a bunch of drunken soldiers. But he's like, yeah, you will. Or you won't be wearing a crown, period. And when you go to your death, it's going to be without a crown on your head and gold
Yep,
on your
something
feet.
like that.
But yeah, she was absolute. She was a stunner.
See, Midbar, this right here is why you need to be my co host because you know things. You need to be there with me.
But yeah, and I'll tell you something else. When you get into the Song of Solomon and you start talking about the Shunammite woman. The Shunammite woman is actually an Ethiopian woman as well. And you know this because it talks about her dark skin and her milky white teeth. And she also was a stunner, and she was in love with Solomon, and Solomon was in love with her. And he, to him, there
Her
wasn't a
fat,
woman more
got
beautiful
good
than
belly
her.
button. Her belly button's the size of a saucer. Man, and she had purple hair, hit teeth, hairy titties. Man, she was busted looking. But he loved her, man. He did. He wrote pretty songs about her. But she called him white. He had legs like alabaster. So they were white and strong.
Yeah. Because he was fair skinned and she
Well,
was dark skinned. Yeah.
he
They had
was
beautiful
white.
babies. They had them mixed babies, baby. Woo. But yeah,
I
I mean,
don't.
you gotta realize, telling you,
Wait, why are you cheering for mixed babies? No, they need to be white ones.
hey, mixed babies are pretty. I'm not saying anything bad about anybody. I don't care. My job isn't to dictate who you date. My job is to love you regardless. I'm just saying their babies would have been pretty. He was a light skinned dude. She was a dark skinned girl, and their babies would have been pretty. They would have been that nice mulatto color, you know? I'm just saying.
Okay.
The mellow yellow
Okay.
baby.
Midbar said, yep, Xerxes' first wife. Oh, I already read that. I already read that. Never mind. I
Yeah,
thought it was something
she
else.
was from India. His first wife was from India. She was
Yeah,
an Indian. You know,
she
red
had
dot between
bad
the eyes.
attitude.
She was Indian. His second wife was a little Hebrew girl, but he didn't know she was Hebrew. They hid that until the very end.
There's
But
no such thing as Hebrew.
yes,
Not at this point.
Hebrew is a nationality. Or Hebrew is a language. Jewish is a nationality. I can't remember. No, Hebrews. They're called the Hebrews. They are Hebrews.
Yeah,
Most
but at
people call
this
them
time,
Hebes.
there was
They
no
call them Hebes
Hebrew.
or Hebes or whatever, but they're Hebrew and they speak Hebrew and their religion is Judaism. That's why the Nazis always called them Jews after
That's like,
Judah. It was a slap in the face. They thought calling them after the tribe of Judah was a bad thing, but
das Juden!
tribe
Mm.
it says that the scepter will never leave the tribe of Judah. And Jesus says, who? The lion of the tribe of Judah who holds the scepter to this day.
Hold on, Mom.
Huh?
Just Max said Jew is a belief. Jew, Jewish.
Judaism is the belief. Hebrew is the nation and are the language, and it's also the nationality. I know. That's what I said.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that. Thank you so much for clearing that
Yes,
up.
I agree. But it's hard to remember. It's sometimes I get it twisted in my head. And I always tell everybody don't get it twisted, but I do. I get it twisted sometimes. There's so much knowledge in my head that it's hard to keep track where it all
Well,
is.
that's what the fuck we use my channel for on Sundays, Mom. So you can spread your knowledge that people can research for themselves because a lot of the shit I never heard because I don't pay attention to Christianity because I'm not a Christian. I'm a God guy and I pay attention to the words of the Old Testament. That
Well, I do
is
too.
my book. That
I don't
the Old
consider
Testament.
myself a Christian either. I consider myself a follower of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and I'm
I'm
a
a
God bro.
follower. I'm just a follower. I follow the Old Testament and the New Testament because the Old Testament is what is considered Christology. It's
Well, I
the
don't, again, I don't know any of that.
well, I'm just telling you that's what they call it, Christology. It's the prophecies of the Christ to come, Christology. The New Testament is called
Fake.
well, mine is the apocryphal books. And I don't mean apocryphal like bad. I mean apocalyptic books. Yes, is the best way to say it. In the Old Testament,
The
like
ones in the Jew Journal fantasy novel.
no, I'm talking about like Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Isaiah, Daniel, Amos, Joel, Malachi, Micah, Habakkuk, Amos. Those books are all what is they call them minor prophets. In my opinion, there's no such thing as a major prophet and a minor prophet. If you're a prophet of God, you're a prophet. Just sometimes your prophecies are more futuristic than at the time of.
Yeah, that's how Mormons get away with that shit. It doesn't have to come true right now, but I wrote it in a
No, no,
book
no.
and dun, dun,
But there's
dun.
a but there's a
I
difference.
plagiarized Revelations,
There's a
so I wrote
difference.
a stupid book.
There there's a difference in what is written in scripture than what is man-made. Because a lot of the stuff you see in the book of Daniel and you see in the book of Ezekiel and you see in the book of Isaiah and you see in the book of even in the book of Exodus and in the book of let's see Ezekiel, Isaiah, Daniel, Jeremiah, Amos, they're all about the things that were going to happen after Christ came and was crucified. They're talking about this is Christ is going to come. He's going to be crucified. And then there's going to be an end. There's going to be a judgment day where I'm going to bring all people together and judge them one final time. And these are signs of the things that are going to happen. So when you see them, you will know.
Hold on, Mom. Yes. Uh, just hold on. I can't read your name. I think it says Just Me C. Just Mac. Can I just call you Just? But he said it's all BS. Whatever religion is higher than the truth. And I believe the Old Testament is closer to the truth than anything because the Old Testament even talks about the pagan and the Greek gods in Genesis before the flood. Herculean type people before the flood.
Well, it talks about
And
the giants. It talks about the giants. It talks about how the sons of God's mated how the sons of God mated with um normal earthly women and
women
produced children,
and produced Herculean style children, mighty men of valor. And I
mighty men of valor, yes. And those guys
valor. Yeah.
but those guys, you also have to remember that that is the reason that the flood came was so God could wipe them
I
out.
we do know that. Hold on. Just Mech or Mech. I can call you Mech. Okay. Only the Genesis book has. Yeah, and that's why a lot of Christians won't read it.
I read the
because
book of
of things
Genesis.
like that.
I was reading the book
Mom,
of
you're
Genesis
not.
today, and you were
Mom,
telling
you're
me,
not. Mom, you're not a regular Christian. You're not even a Christian. So I'm not even talking about you.
no, because Americans calling themselves Yanks and rebels isn't over slavery. It's over over
Mom,
land.
did
It
nobody
won't be
say that?
anybody from the
Stop
East
it.
Coast.
Mom, I
He
don't even know what you're talking about.
I'm
Stop
a
it.
Midbar, like Americans calling each other Yanks or rebels over slavery war dividing labels. No, it's not the
Oh my
same thing.
God.
Yanks and rebels were actually was something that they were calling each other before the Civil War ever happened. It was just a term because they lived north or they lived south, and they carried themselves differently. But the rebel flag was the flag of the South during the war of slavery. But that flag meant something completely different before that war because it was part of the British flag as well as the American flag. And that's what the rebel flag was. Because there was a lot of people in the South that didn't want to break away from King George during the Revolutionary War. That's where that flag came from. Did you ever see a British flag?
Hey,
What?
I was going to say, Midbar said Jew is an old Gentile slang. See, I thought that's exactly what it
Well,
was.
yes,
Mud.
Jew was an old
Okay.
slang, but it was also a slang for the tribe of Judah from the land of Judea. That's what it was. That's why they called them Jews or Judahs.
Ho- Mom, hold on. Somebody is saying hi on YouTube. I can't read the name, but it's DM1. I'm just going to call you D. Hi, D. Mom, say hi.
Heidi. But yeah, the term Jew was always supposed to be a derogatory term because they they considered themselves because of their religion, which was Judaism, they would and because Judea was actually a place that the tribe of Judah lived in. They lived in Judea. The tribe of Judah and the tribe of Benjamin lived in Judea. Um, and the other tribes lived in other surrounding areas. There was the tribe of Manasseh, and they lived in certain parts. And it's just the way they broke their tribes down. The tribe of Zebulun, the tribe of all of I mean, they all had their places. The tribe of Zebulun actually dwelt by the sea, but, but Yanks and rebels was just something, you know, rebels or rednecks, those were not derogatory terms back in the day. It's just that most of the guys from the South were farmers, and they had farmer tans. They had rednecks because they had short hair, and they had a farmer's tan. So that's, the term redneck.
And they were Democrats. Sorry, just had to throw that in there.
And I mean,
Sorry, Mom.
but that's just, I mean, that's just what, none of those terms a lot of those terms were used, but everybody that used them did not use them in the same derogatory way. But anyway, I have to get off of here because I got other stuff to do. I love you guys, and I will see you next Sunday.
Bye, Mom. You're hanging up, right?
Yep, I got it. Love you guys. See you next Sunday.
Love you too, Mom. Bye.
Bye. I got it.
So, what did everybody think about today? My mom was saying some crazy shit. So, if you go back to the beginning and watch this, I had to cut in a few times. And also, I need to remind everybody right now, research everything you hear on my channel. 90% of it is just my opinion, and the other 10% is my mom. Okay. So I'm glad everybody hung out with my mom. I appreciate it. And I think that girl left because I didn't say hi to her on time. Why don't people like wait? People need to wait. But it's like this instant gratification. It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but fucking Midbar, I cannot wait until tonight. Can you wait until tonight? Man, I cannot wait. I'm so excited. And I just can't hide it. And I'm home alone, alone, alone. I think I like it. Yep, everyone has freedom of opinion or what we listen to for advice. Yeah, take advice from me because it's good advice that shit I tell myself. So you can take advice from me. I'm a sage. But when it comes to Das Bible, I do know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I don't pay attention to any of that other shit. My mom's like, look up the date. It's like I don't need to look up the date to know what the Bible said. It's about the words for me. It's not so much about all this gematria bullshit, like I said yesterday. And like the numbers and dates and the history. I don't need to know all that to know what God did. I, I don't need to know all that to know what these people did to piss God off. I don't need to know historical documents about any of that, right? Mech, are you still here? What are you thinking? Like, how did you like my mom? Should be fun tonight. I woke up with throat feeling bigger than my head, and somebody bashed my head with a hammer. But getting better. Fingertips. Well, get the hell off your computer or your phone. Get away from the blue light. Take some aspirin and drink a glass of water. Lay down for a second and close your eyes and just count in your head 10 forward, 10 backwards. Like, I don't know, 5 or 6 times. Then breathe heavy and your headache should be gone. So, what do you think about Exodus? What do you think about, how about this? What do you think about the Bible? And what are you hoping to learn from my insane ass fucky channel? Hey, if you've got a sore throat and a headache mid bar, you don't have to come because I'm used to people not coming. No, I'm just fucking around, dude. You better come. I'm gonna be so sad. I was just too short here to get church. That was a very profound answer. I've never got one of those before. An answer like that. That is a really nice thing to say. I wasn't here long enough to make an accurate judgment. Yeah, that is. Damn. That was so eloquent. I am highly impressed with your words, sir. Or ma'am. But I think you're a boy. You write like a boy. So, what do you think about the Bible? Like, what is your thoughts on it? Hold on. I'm going up here. Okay. Always something to learn we didn't know before. But the goal is to get more people involved. Iron doesn't sharpen itself. You said that to me last night. You absolutely did. Yeah, well, I feel that way about the New Testament. Well, okay, that's not true. Just the letters of Paul. The letters, like Jesus' story, if he wasn't like that, they wouldn't have wrote that shit down. Because remember, the Jews hate Jesus, and they helped put the Bible together. So, if, like, they probably had an ulterior motive for writing Jesus' story like that. So maybe people think Jesus was being mean to them. Maybe that's why. But I do not believe any of those letters. Mm-mm. Nope. I read them one time and was like, I can't get through this. It made me feel so gross. Reading that book made me feel so gross. No, I know not all of them did, but they went along with it. I it's hard to forgive those people for hurting my friend. Jesus is my fucking friend, man. And I just hold a grudge. And reading the story of Jesus is like reading your friend's police report over and over and over again. Like different cops' incident reports and the affidavit. different witness statements. It's really weird. And I don't like it. Mom, stop it. But Jesus also humbled himself. Yes, no, he did. He did. I'm not saying nothing bad about Jesus. I'm not saying nothing bad about Jesus. I'm just saying I don't like the letters. I don't like the letters. And reading Jesus, the story of Jesus, is like reading different cops' incident reports of what happened to Jesus. Plus, the Bible has been. Yeah, I have at least 4 Bibles, and they all are written very differently, but they all say the same thing. I have King James, New King James. I have the Old King James. And sometimes when I'm reading this Bible right here, I'm like, that's not what fucking happened. So I open my other Bibles and it's like, that's exactly what happened. But it's written different. But it says the same thing. I promise. I promise because sometimes I have to look. And I looked at like all my Bibles, especially with the story of David, because I know that story so well. I get confused and I have to read certain parts out of both Bibles. Or I'm sorry, all 3 Bibles. The King James, the New King James, and the American New King James. Hold on, Midbar, I'm reading it right now. Sometimes looking at all the translation opens a better understanding of what's being said, like looking at the same thing from different angles. Right, that's what I'm saying. Many cops' perspectives on what happened to Jesus. It's like reading police reports. By the way, everything Jesus said was only written down later by Tim. Right. And some of it was written closely after Jesus died, actually, because there was a Roman emperor called Theophilus, and Luke wrote about Jesus to Theophilus. And Luke said he had more understanding than everybody else, so listen to him. He interviewed the people that were there with Jesus some of the time, from what I understand. But Theophilus was a Roman like guard or editor of the newspaper or something. Sometimes Jesus had fishermen, tax collectors, soldiers, people. Yeah, he had all the people at the party pet. Everybody that hangs out here daily or nightly, you are the kind of people Jesus wanted. You are the kind of people that Jesus wants because you are the most pure, because you're not tainted by any of that evil Christian bullshit. Christianity is evil, it's vile, it's wicked. You got to be a certain kind of person to fit in at the church. You got to know how to be fake. And I don't know how to be fake. There ain't a fake thing on me except my teeth. Even those apostles had apprentices. David had Jehoshaphat, and Jehoshaphat wrote most of the story of David. That's the rules for playing the game. Never put anything on paper. Absolutely, unless you're willing to burn it. And actually burn it, you know. Holy crap. Never put anything on paper. Wait, Midbar, you just woke up. Does that mean you didn't go to church today? Or did you take a nap? I still haven't been to sleep, but I did my dishes. Yeah, Mac, I am a chain smoker, but I also chain smoke weed. My mom caught me smoking weed a minute ago. There's my last paper. So I guess it's back to the bowl for me. But I'm gonna roll the biggest joint I can out of this cigarette paper. You know what I just thought of? I haven't woke up with a song in my head in a long time. We were just talking about that last night, weren't we, Midbar? Usually wake up with a song in my head, but I haven't lately. Now that we talked about it and I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. Hold on. The natives. Hold on. I can't read that. The natives that live up inside the Grand Canyon had stories that go back. Wow. Oh, damn. So listen, if you need to take a rain check, take a rain check, dear. Just don't forget about me. Yeah, it seems like they're not putting a lot of nicotine in the cigarettes anymore, making people buy more cigarettes because of the no smoking thing, you know? So, like, here's how we get them to buy more cigarettes. We'll put less nicotine. I think they even do that to the bag tobacco because sometimes it doesn't feel like I even smoked a cigarette. How old are you, Mac? No, I skipped church because I woke up. Oh my God. You need to get better immediately. Has anybody ever put Philadelphia cream cheese in their eggs to make them fluffy? Because there's a Philly cream cheese commercial that's talking about putting Philly cream cheese in your scrambled eggs. It's like I never heard of that before. Do you smoke weed, Mac, or you just smoke cigarettes? And I don't want doing another fucking live stream mid bar. I can't believe we had a 8 hour live stream yesterday. Nicotine isn't bad. In fact, it's a B vitamin. B16 that even kills cancer cells. It's the Additive. Yeah. Yeah. But I think they're putting less and less in them or something. When I was younger, I rolled them myself. Where do you live, Meg? I roll my own cigarettes also. I buy the gambler. I like my cigarettes cost $20 a month. Well, actually, mine, because I buy multiple packs of tubes. It probably cost me like $28 to smoke a carton. Well, 3 or 4 cartons of cigarettes in a month. Where are you from, Mac? No. Okay. Mid bar. You're not answering me. It's a cat. I'm here by myself right now. Well, okay. I'm not by myself. My cats are here. I know. Come on. Oh, come here, big boy. You're such a good boy. You're a good boy. Mr. Serial Girl. This is Jack. He loves my kisses. He rapes my face with his head. It's a beautiful thing. I was saying it was beautiful. It's Mr. Serial. Mr. Serial Girl. Was born in New Zealand. Oh, hi Jack. Go ahead. Get back on my lap. Here, I got a better idea. Oh, there. I live now, Germany. Uh, I don't know what that means. I don't know what fuck the Dutch means. Hold on. It's Miss Cecilia Girl. Uh-huh. You're so slick. You're so slick. It's Miss Cecilia Girl. Do you see him? I thought you were going. No, you're just gonna lay there. You're gonna lay there. Oh yeah, this is Jack. He's the old boy. Yeah, him's an old boy. He's almost 5. Yeah. But we got another cat. He was shot in the head. And he was an outside cat. When he showed up here, he was all pussy and real bad. So we showed the picture to a couple vets. And a veterinarian fixed him up for $70. And now he's been stuck in my house for like 3 months. And he wants to go outside so bad. But we can't let him outside for like another 2 weeks. It's Miss Cecilia Girl. Do you have a cat? I know Midbar, he has 2 cats. Do you have any cats? I have 9 cats. 8 cats. I have 8 cats. Oh, sweet. Does that mean you're gonna come tonight for my show at 10:30? I think it's at 10 o'clock. Midbar is 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 o'clock. Because I'm reading Exodus. I was just giving my mom something to talk about. So I just told her Exodus. And she said some crazy ass shit. And I forgot she was going to say some crazy ass shit. I was not expecting that. What she said, I was like, whoa. I couldn't believe it's like, fucking research that shit. Noah was castrated when? Thank you. Thank you so much. That'll help buy animal food. Because I take care of raccoons and I have cats and I take care of stray cats. Yeah. So every every dollar makes more dollars for cat food and dog food for the raccoons. Hey, Mac, do you watch Naruto? Because I watch Naruto. I'm at the part right now where Asuma's about to die. It's a real sad episode. I'm going to skip it. Because I don't want to see him die. And then Shikamaru gets all fucking sad, and it's like, oh my god, I'm about to take a shower in fucking barbed wire. But Neji dying during the war, that was pretty sad too. Man, because Pain was saying some bunk ass shit. It's like, who says that in real life? No one. Why would you say that? And it's real sad. Anyway, if you don't watch Naruto, you have no idea what I'm talking about. So never mind. Do you cry during cartoons? Because I do. I cry at cartoons. Oh, I sure do. And then here shortly when Jiraiya dies, I'm gonna fucking bawl my eyes out and call my mom. Oh, Jiraiya died. Oh, I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. And I'm forcing myself to watch all these episodes because I skipped them all the first time around. Well, okay. My first two times around, I just skipped to the Ninja War and skipped all the episodes. Sorry, I must go. Have a good stream. Yes, much love. I am also going to be out of here. I am also going to be out of here. Thank you for hanging out. I hope to see you this evening. And everybody else, it's time for the pillow to give you some head and the sheets to give you some ass. The sun's up. It's time to have a quickie with Nikki. I love you so much. Goodbye. I I don't know if I should wait for people to say bye or not. Do I have an outro? I don't even have an outro. All right, I'll just play my beginning. Son of a biscuit eating bitch face motherfucker. This. This is Jesus smashing bullshit. I'm telling you, it's Jesus smashing bullshit. Life anymore right now because it's all Jesus smashing bullshit. All right, here we go. Why? Okay, now here we go. Do anybody know what's happening right now? Because I have no fucking idea what's happening. Okay, there it is. I think. What the fuck? Okay, there it is. Okay, sorry. I'm place. Anyway, Get some head and some ass from your pillows and your sheets and wake up in like an hour or so. I love you so much. And I'll see you this evening at 10:30, 11 o'clock, whichever we decide, probably 10:30. That'll be the best time because it's right in between every time. So that'll work. Anyway, I'll see y'all later. Bye.